Hi, this is Patrick Gould from Software AG Government Solutions. Bob Jeffcott and I would like to present to you this short video and show you how easily mainframe natural objects can call REST APIs within your modern, low-code, no-code applications or other mainframe modernization projects. All of this is achieved using WebMethods EntireX and Integration Server. You can see the architecture of this process where on the left of the drawing is our REST APIs that need to be called from natural. We consume the REST API RAML, for example, into Integration Server and use EntireX in the middle to generate natural client code that can call the REST API. We can now add the callNat statement to our natural programs that need to call the generated natural. The natural object on the right can now call the REST API on the left. We will now demo this process to you. First of all, we go out to the Swagger Pet Store and look for the RAML file that we want to use to create this service. We then go to our project and create a new REST API descriptor. We give it a descriptor name. We decide whether it's going to be Swagger or OpenAPI. We finish the rest of those fields and we pull in the URL to create the actual file that we want to create an API from within the service development perspective. We then hit the Finish button and move on to the next step. We'll now choose the file within the Project Explorer and we can now test this to see that it actually calls out to the REST application that we are trying to get to. So we do this by creating a run as service. We pass the parameters that we want, and we can test if this particular service is working before we create the IDL file for natural. We are now ready to generate the IDL. So we go back into our project, EntireX perspective, and we say new IDL for WebMethods IS. We choose a new and existing connection. We decide what the language is and it's natural, and we create a new REST server. We now decide what features we want to do and call from the actual service. And we then can proceed with the rest of the fields, and we can then finish this process, making sure we have the right broker and RPC connections, and we can then finish and we will have created an IDL file. We can now see the IDL file inside of the Project Explorer, and the next step is to now generate the natural client code from this particular IDL file. And to do that, we go new and we will do natural and we'll generate the RPC client. We choose which objects we want. We go next and we will actually generate the natural code that we can now pass on to the mainframe. EntireX will now use a natural RPC server to move that code up into the mainframe so that we can test it. We can now log on to Mainframe Natural and we can see the objects that were generated. In this case, the ones we want to test start with get, and we'll run the get user 2 program that will provide us with an input map so that we can supply parameters and test if the actual service works. We will now execute the program from the menu, and we will pass it the parameters that are needed to be able to call the REST API, and then those fields could be used within the natural subprogram. We can now take that callNat statement out of this example program and add that to the actual code that we want to use to call the web service in a real production fashion. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you would like to see more, let us know, and if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you very much.